There's something nobody talks about enough as we get older. The way certain people can leave us feeling completely drained, even when we haven't done anything physically demanding. You know that feeling when you've spent time with someone and afterward, you feel like you need a nap, not because you're tired, but because something inside you feels depleted. Those who've lived long and observed life closely understand that our energy becomes more precious with each passing year. We don't bounce back like we used to, and we can't afford to waste our vitality on people who take more than they give. Today, we're going to explore 6 specific ways people drain your energy, and more importantly, how to protect yourself from these invisible thieves of your peace. The first energy drain comes from what I call the endless demander. You've probably encountered this person. They always need something from you. It could be your time, your attention, your advice, or your resources. But here's the thing that makes them so exhausting. Their problems never get resolved. No matter how much you give, how much you help, or how much energy you pour into their situation, nothing ever seems to improve. Think about someone in your life who fits this pattern. Maybe it's a family member who calls with the same crisis week after week, or a friend who asks for the same advice repeatedly but never takes it. These relationships feel like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You keep pouring, but the level never rises. Those who study human behavior have found that this pattern creates what they call emotional labor fatigue. You become a constant problem solver for someone else's life while your own needs get pushed aside. The worst part is that these people often make you feel guilty if you try to step back or set boundaries. Here's what you need to understand. There's a difference between someone going through a temporary rough patch and someone who has made crisis their permanent address. People going through genuine difficulties work toward solutions. Endless demanders, on the other hand, seem to feed off the attention their problems bring them. You might recognize this in yourself if you find yourself dreading certain phone calls or feeling exhausted just thinking about spending time with certain people. Your body knows before your mind catches up. Pay attention to that wisdom. The solution isn't to become heartless or stop caring about people. Instead, you need to set what I call energy boundaries. This means being honest about how much you can give without depleting yourself. You might say something like, "I care about you, but I can only discuss this for 15 minutes today." Or, "I've given you my thoughts on this before. What steps are you taking to address it?" Remember, helping someone shouldn't leave you feeling empty. True helping energizes both people because progress is being made. The second type of energy drain comes from people who operate through deception and manipulation. These individuals have mastered the art of making you feel like you're getting something valuable when really they're taking from you. You've probably met people like this without fully realizing what was happening. They're the ones who make grand promises about what they'll do for you, but somehow those promises never materialize. They might offer to help you with something important, get you excited about the possibility, then disappear when it's time to follow through. Or they might be the type who always seems to be in dire need of your help, playing up their helplessness to get you to rescue them. They've learned that appearing vulnerable gets them what they want from kind-hearted people like you. People who've lived through enough relationships recognize this pattern. These individuals study what matters to you, then use that knowledge to get what they want. They might praise your wisdom and experience, making you feel valued and important, but only when they need something from you. The emotional toll of these relationships is particularly heavy because they make you question your own judgment. You start wondering if you're being too suspicious or not giving people the benefit of the doubt. But here's the truth. Your instincts about people usually prove right over time. One way to identify these energy drains is to notice if someone's actions match their words. Manipulative people are often generous with promises, but stingy with follow-through. Another red flag is if someone only contacts you when they need something, but they're mysteriously unavailable when you might need support. The key to protecting yourself is learning to look at patterns rather than isolated incidents. One broken promise might be a genuine mistake. A pattern of broken promises is a character issue. You can protect your energy by being slower to commit and quicker to verify. When someone makes you an offer that seems too good to be true, give it time. Real opportunities don't disappear overnight, but manipulative lures often do. The third major energy drain comes from people who create chaos wherever they go. These are individuals who seem incapable of organization, planning, or clear communication, and somehow their disorder always becomes your emergency. You know someone like this if you've ever found yourself constantly clarifying what they meant, cleaning up their mistakes, or dealing with consequences of their poor planning. They might be chronically late, constantly changing plans at the last minute, or giving you incomplete or confusing information that forces you to guess what they really need. These people exhaust you because interaction with them requires so much extra mental and emotional work. A simple conversation becomes complicated because they can't express themselves clearly. A straightforward task becomes a puzzle because they haven't thought it through properly. What makes this particularly draining is that you often feel guilty about being frustrated with them. They might not seem to be doing anything intentionally harmful. They're just disorganized or scattered. But the impact on your energy is real, regardless of their intentions. Those who've observed these patterns in relationships understand that some people have learned to function by relying on others to provide the structure and clarity they lack. They've discovered that if they're helpless enough, organized people will step in and fix things for them. The solution here isn't to try to change these people or teach them to be more organized. That's rarely successful and will drain even more of your energy. Instead, you need to create clear boundaries about what you will and won't take responsibility for. This might mean saying, "I need you to email me the details so I have them in writing," or "Let me know your final decision by Tuesday, otherwise I'll make other plans." You're not being mean, you're being clear about what you need to function well. The fourth type of energy vampire thrives on conflict and drama. These people seem to have an internal need to stir up trouble, create arguments, or keep emotional tension alive in their relationships. You might know someone who always has something negative to say about others, who brings up old grievances repeatedly, or who seems to enjoy pushing your buttons just to get a reaction. They might disguise this as just being honest or telling it like it is, but the effect is that every interaction with them leaves you feeling agitated or upset. Some of these people are obvious in their approach. They're openly argumentative or critical, but others are more subtle. They might make passive-aggressive comments, bring up sensitive topics at inappropriate times, or share information designed to make you worry or feel bad. What's particularly exhausting about these relationships is that you never know what mood you'll encounter. You might approach them feeling peaceful and positive, only to leave feeling angry, hurt, or anxious. They have a talent for finding whatever will disturb your inner calm. People who study conflict patterns have found that some individuals become addicted to the intensity that drama provides. They create emotional chaos because it makes them feel powerful or important, even if that power comes at the cost of others' peace. The key to protecting yourself from these energy drains is learning not to take the bait. When someone tries to provoke you into an argument, you can choose not to engage. This doesn't mean you become a doormat. It means you become selective about which battles are worth your energy. You might respond to provocative comments with something like, "I see we have different views on this," and then change the subject. Or you might simply say, "I don't want to discuss this right now," and stick to that boundary. Remember, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is refuse to participate in someone else's drama. The fifth energy drain comes from people whose poor judgment consistently creates problems that somehow become your responsibility to solve or endure. These might be family members who make impulsive decisions without considering the consequences. friends who repeatedly make the same mistakes, or anyone in your life whose chaos regularly spills over into your world. You've probably experienced this if you've ever found yourself constantly worrying about someone's choices, bailing them out of situations they created, or dealing with the fallout from their poor decisions. They might be financially irresponsible, make impulsive relationship choices, or consistently choose options that any reasonable person could see would lead to trouble. What makes this so draining is the feeling of helplessness it creates. You can see the problems coming, but you can't prevent them. You want to help someone you care about, but your help never seems to lead to better choices. It just enables more of the same poor judgment. Those who've lived through these situations understand that some people never learn from their mistakes because other people keep rescuing them from the consequences. They've learned that someone will always step in to fix things, so they don't need to develop better judgment themselves. This pattern is particularly common in family relationships, where love and obligation can make you feel responsible for outcomes that are really beyond your control. You might find yourself lying awake at night worrying about someone's choices or spending your own resources trying to prevent disasters you didn't create. The solution requires recognizing the difference between supporting someone and enabling them. Support involves helping people deal with consequences while they learn better ways to handle things. Enabling involves rescuing people from consequences, which prevents learning and often makes the problem worse. You can protect your energy by being clear about what you will and won't take responsibility for. This might mean saying, "I love you, but I can't keep bailing you out of these situations." Or, "I'm happy to help you think through better options, but I won't be fixing this problem for you." The sixth and final major energy drain comes from people who refuse to learn, grow, or acknowledge when they're wrong. These individuals remain stubbornly closed to new information, dismiss advice even when it comes from people with more experience, and repeat the same mistakes over and over while expecting different results. You know someone like this if you've ever found yourself repeatedly explaining the same concepts, watching them make predictable mistakes, or feeling frustrated because they won't consider perspectives other than their own. They might ask for your advice, then argue with everything you suggest, or they might make the same errors repeatedly while insisting that luck or other people are to blame. What makes these relationships so exhausting is the sense that your wisdom and experience aren't valued. You might have decades of life experience and hard-earned knowledge, but these people treat your insights as if they're worthless. They seem to believe they already know everything they need to know. People who've observed these patterns understand that some individuals are so threatened by the possibility of being wrong that they'd rather keep failing than admit they might have something to learn. Their ego is more important to them than their growth or success. This is particularly painful when it involves people you care about. You watch them struggle with problems that have clear solutions, but they refuse to consider those solutions because accepting help would mean admitting they don't already know everything. The key to protecting your energy in these relationships is accepting that you cannot learn for someone else. Wisdom cannot be forced on people who aren't ready to receive it. Your job is not to convince anyone of anything. Your job is to live your own life well and share your wisdom with those who genuinely want it. This might mean saying, "I've shared my thoughts with you, let me know if you want to discuss it further," and then letting the matter drop. Or you might choose to invest your energy in relationships with people who value what you have to offer. Now, recognizing these energy drains is only the first step. The bigger challenge is learning how to protect yourself without becoming bitter or closed off to genuine relationships. The goal isn't to become suspicious of everyone or to stop caring about people. The goal is to become wise about where you invest your precious energy. Those who've mastered this art understand that boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. You get to decide who enters your inner circle and under what conditions. You get to choose which problems deserve your attention and which ones don't. This wisdom becomes even more important as we age, because our energy becomes more finite and more precious. We don't have unlimited reserves to waste on people who drain us dry. We need to save our vitality for the relationships and activities that truly matter. One practical approach is to start paying attention to how you feel after spending time with different people. Notice which interactions leave you feeling energized and which ones leave you feeling depleted. Your body often knows before your mind catches up. Another helpful strategy is to practice what some call emotional accounting. Just like you wouldn't keep spending money on investments that never pay returns, you shouldn't keep investing emotional energy in relationships that never give anything back. This doesn't mean you become calculating or cold in your relationships. It means you become intentional about where you focus your care and attention. You recognize that saying no to one thing means saying yes to something else. Remember, protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you're constantly drained by energy vampires, you have nothing left to give to the people and activities that truly deserve your attention. Taking care of yourself emotionally allows you to show up more fully for what matters most. The truth is, life is too short and too precious to spend it feeling constantly exhausted by other people's chaos, drama, or dysfunction. You've earned the right to choose peace over drama, wisdom over ignorance, and genuine connection over manipulation. Those who've lived long enough to gain real wisdom understand that one of life's greatest skills is learning who deserves your energy and who doesn't. This isn't about being judgmental, it's about being discerning. There's a difference between the two. As you think about the relationships in your own life, consider which of these patterns you recognize. Are there people who consistently leave you feeling drained? Are there situations you keep getting pulled into that never seem to improve? Are there energy vampires in your life who take more than they give? The beautiful thing about gaining this awareness is that it puts the power back in your hands. You don't have to be a victim of other people's energy-draining behaviors. You can choose how much access people have to your time, attention, and emotional resources. This choice becomes one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself in your later years. The gift of surrounding yourself with people who add to your life rather than subtract from it. People who respect your wisdom, value your time, and contribute positive energy to your world. Your energy is precious. Your peace matters. Your wisdom deserves to be valued. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise.